Welcome, everyone. We're really very proud to see everybody who signed up. And it's a nice opportunity to get together. And of course, the theme of our conference this year is Girls' Education Turning Climate Change into Climate Action. So we'll be talking a lot about that. But before we jump into the heart of the subject, I did want to update you on what we've been doing these last months. Of course, we've had a very busy year. It's a new thing for us this year. We actually did 3 in-person events. So we had an event in Montreal in April. We did an event in Vancouver mid-September and another one in Toronto early October. So it was really a great opportunity for us to obviously increase our network and get to meet everyone in person. It was 3 years of virtual conferences, so we felt it was kind of time to actually get out there and meet everyone. So, and of course, we still have the virtual conference today. I just want to mention a couple of things. One, you may have seen it in our newsletter. The Canadian Federation of University Women chose 60 Million Girls for their international service project this year. So that means the 95 chapters of CFUW across Canada will be fundraising for 60 million girls. So we greatly, greatly appreciate that support and their confidence in what we're doing. We've done a lot of things over the summer. As you know, we have a research and development team. And one of the things that we've been working on very much over the last almost 18 months now is trying to find content to put on the Rachel for climate action for children living in developing countries. It's been really great. It's been eye-opening. We've been meeting a lot of partners in very different sectors as well. Of course, a lot in the environmental sector, biodiversity. So it's been a really wonderful opportunity to do that, and we do want to keep doing more. We did have the opportunity in August, a group of students at McGill, JED Consultants, contacted us to offer to do a pro bono project for 60 million girls. And we tossed around a lot of ideas, and finally we came up with the idea of doing a hackathon. So that will be taking place in March of 2024. The dates haven't been set yet, but we're really looking to try to put together multidisciplinary teams, if you like. So students from education sector, obviously, computer science, and other areas. And the ultimate goal is to create a video game. So an interactive video game has to be offline, of course, to go on the Rachel, but all about climate change. That's something that we can send out very quickly. As you may be aware, we have over 400 mobile learning labs in place around the world. So we calculate that's probably about 100,000 students a week that have access to the mobile learning lab. So it's a great opportunity for us. So if there's any of you who would be interested in helping us out with that event, we'd really appreciate it. We're again going to be reaching out to our partners to participate, also reaching out to partners in the environmental sector, and also looking for help from the IT sector, so from the technical point of view. So that'll be happening in March 2024. A little bit closer to today, on November 17th, we're doing a half-day inter-university conference at McGill. So there'll be researchers from McGill, Carleton University, and Université Laval, and we'll be talking about education, technology and education in the developing world. So the researchers will be presenting the work that they've been doing, integrating technology into education in a lot of different countries. So we're really looking forward to that. It's a great opportunity for us to talk about the Mobile Learning Lab. A partner of ours, Embrace International, will be talking about the project they did in Uganda with the mobile learning labs for children living with disabilities. And it'll be nice to hear what else is going on in that sphere. So without further ado, we will start the heart of the conference. We'll be starting first with the project that we're doing with Change for Children. We've been working with Change for Children for many years now. And we'll be showing the video of the project that we'll be financing with Change for Children. And then afterwards, I'll have a nice discussion with Lorraine Swift, who's here tonight and can tell us a little bit more in detail just what climate action is having as an impact in their particular projects. So I'll let you show the video then, Bea.
There are giggles as headphones are distributed. There's awe as laptop screens light up. There's anticipation as content loads. Inside schools, without libraries and with only few books, remote communities above the clouds in Guatemala's Western Highlands get connected. With the support of 60 million girls, rural Mayamam Indigenous students in underserved, marginalized communities use mobile learning labs and offline digital libraries to access educational content. From inside newly constructed technology classrooms, students are transported. They become characters in the illustrated stories they read. They are engaged by educational games. They are captivated by bringing the world outside the classroom to life through encyclopedic entries at their fingertips. Teachers use the technology as a tool for accessing courses to improve their skills. There are resources for research and sources of curriculum content and lesson planning inspiration. There's vast potential in the digital library of paperless pages. And the same is true in Nicaragua's Bosawas Biosphere Reserve. The innovative technology is the first of its kind in this remote off-grid region, accessible only by river travel. Teachers and students touch computers for the first time. Compact digital libraries are powered by solar energy in Mosquito Indigenous classrooms constructed by 60 million girls. No internet connection is required to access the extensive educational content from across the web and the world. Teachers with limited formal education and without training opportunities use the technology to increase their own understanding of the subjects that they teach. Preschool teachers seek out sing-along songs in their mother tongue. Math teachers acquire ideas to make multiplication fun. Science teachers solidify their understanding of complex concepts. Concepts like climate change. Communities with the greatest vulnerability to climate change are rural areas with high levels of poverty and great dependence on subsistence agriculture, like the ones reached with mobile learning labs and digital libraries in Guatemala and Nicaragua. With the ongoing support of 60 million girls, the technology established in just such communities will be used to deliver a new climate change education massive open online course to educators. The training will prepare teachers to prepare students to recognize, understand, and respond to climate change and its impacts. Girls in these areas are particularly impacted by climate change challenges. Often girls are responsible for domestic chores, water and firewood collection, washing and food preparation, tasks complicated by a changing climate. With the right education and support, girls also prove to be powerful leaders for climate change response in their families and communities. This project puts girls in classrooms with teachers that are prepared to equip them to take on the leadership challenge.
Thank you very much, Bea, for putting that. It's a great presentation of just what it's like in those particular areas in Guatemala and Nicaragua. And I'd like to introduce Lorraine Swift, who's Executive Director of Change for Children. She's been with the organization since July of 2002, so quite some years. And Lorraine also plays a pivotal role in international development community in Alberta and across Canada, and has just recently concluded her term as president of the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation. So a wonderful woman who I've had the chance to travel with to Nicaragua and Guatemala quite a few years ago, but somebody who's obviously very deeply versed in what's happening and how things can be made to improve. So Lorraine will have a little bit of a talk, if you can share with us, some of your expertise and the perspective that you have there. When did you first recognize the impact of climate change in the communities where you work? Like, what did it look like? What were the first measures you put in place with the community's engagement?
Thanks, Wanda. Change for Children has been working in Bossawa since 1999. So, from a climate change perspective, we've seen massive changes in terms of like the health of the rainforest ecosystem there. Bossawas is a United Nations recognized biosphere reserve, as well as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's, an amazing rainforest. It's the largest rainforest north of the Amazon. Yet we see, the declining ability of the local people to grow food. We see depleting water levels in the rivers and streams. The people have less access to drinking water. We've seen a great deal of the forest lost to illegal mining and logging. And climate change has also increased the frequency of disasters. So we see more hurricanes, more droughts, more forest fires, and then followed by the torrential rains that come with the hurricanes, then cause mudslides and failed crops. It's not really dissimilar to what we've seen in Canada with forest fires and then the mudslides that come in the season afterwards in recent years across this country. Only in the tropical rainforest of Bossawas, we were seeing these impacts, a decade ago or more than a decade ago. Talking to the local people, they see less wildlife. We hear tales of people who used to be able to see jaguars and cougars, and now they rarely see them. Sometimes they have to walk for hours into the heart of the rainforest to see those animals, and the other ones they used to be able to see like right from their patio. So we've definitely seen a decrease in biodiversity as well. Like the climate change caused the altered weather patterns. They have affected and disrupted hunting and gathering and agriculture. They've also disrupted the cultivation of natural medicine. So we see the ability of the populations have decreased to deal with their own diseases and sicknesses. And of course, water scarcity is more prevalent now that with climate change. And so taken together, these impacts are huge on the local population, and they have a massive impact, especially on women and girls who, it's harder to find water, it's harder to grow crops, it's harder to find the natural medicine that they need to take care of their families. And our focus in Bossawas has always been environmental preservation. Like the long game is let's save the rainforest. But of course, in order to do that, we need to build capacity amongst the local population, and that means education.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things that you bring out in there, how it impacts, at so many different levels, so many different people in the community, of course, girls very much. Is there anything in particular that you've learned over the years working on these projects, or, would you approach these changes to the climate differently today?
I think actually, and mostly through the support of the 60 Million Girls Foundation, we've been able to do studies about local knowledge, that like what the people know in terms of the impacts of climate change, in terms of how to face those impacts with resilience. So in 2021, with the support of your foundation, we did a study on the traditional Indigenous knowledge around climate change, and particularly the knowledge of women. And so we were able to uncover a lot of knowledge about medicinal plants and subsistence agriculture and adaptation techniques and mitigation measures that emphasize the need for technology and education and mother tongue language instruction. And so we were able to discover a lot of things about how to empower the local population to use the knowledge that they already have, and also deliver the education in the schools, like involving the elders, involving the natural medicine specialists, and helping these people to have pride in their culture, right? Because if you have pride in your culture and you understand the importance of the forest and you understand how the forest sustains you, then you're more likely to protect your forest home, and also less likely to sort of be cheated out of it or convinced to sell it, or all the ways that that the forest disappears amongst these Indigenous populations when they don't really understand what they have.
Yeah, absolutely. There again, the idea of education or providing the information so that this knowledge can be shared and provide that resilience. that they really need. Do you have one particularly kind of overriding concern right now when it comes to climate change for the people in the communities you serve?
Well, yeah, I mean, we see like we've been doing some mapping projects with a software called Mapeo. Of course, all of the people, especially the girls that were trained using technology in the classrooms with the support of 60 million girls, have then gone on to help work with the traditional forest rangers, and they've been mapping. So these girls have all this experience with the technology and the mapping software, and then the forest rangers come in with their knowledge of the land and knowledge of where the traditional Indigenous territory is being encroached upon. And of course, you know, one like if you're Canadian and you realize or you think it's a protected area or it's a national park, like you don't expect that anybody's there like cutting down the forest or, you know, grazing cattle inside of Banff National Park, for example. But this is what happens in places like Bosowas, because there's no one, you know, the Nicaraguan government doesn't do anything to protect these areas, and they're very remote, and the Indigenous people are very marginalized, and so no one really knows what's happening up there, and there's no one making sure that these areas are being preserved. And so the mapping software, which uses Google Earth and can see with satellite imagery what's going on, you know, we were able to provide that software to the Indigenous government, and you know, because the students were already trained in the use of technology, they were able to map those areas. And so now, I mean, the biggest concern is, you know, losing that rainforest, which is important not only to the Indigenous people that live there, but also to the planet. And so we were able to like map those areas where encroachment is happening, and then the Indigenous government can use that to ask for help from not only the national government of Nicaragua, but internationally as well.
Yeah. You know, I love that story of the girls being able to do the mapping, you know, because they've had the access to technology. You know, one of the things obviously that we love to hear is how the Mobile Learning Lab can have an impact and can, you know, help open up these potential positions for girls, or these jobs for girls that they probably wouldn't have ever had a chance to before. So that's always a heartwarming story for us, certainly, to hear. Going forward now, how do you see your role or your support to help students in particular and young people to mitigate the impact of climate change, you know, really in their daily lives, and to build resilience as they face the future?
Well, it's been actually really heartwarming to see what the students go to. Like when you let them in the classrooms just navigate to whatever they want to see on the Rachel, and we would sort of assume that they're going to try to look for like a game, or they're going to try to look for something that's like you know, I don't know, some kind of a video of something or whatever. And actually when we let them navigate and go to whatever they want to see, they look up like their own cultural archives, right? So they're looking up you know, videos of elders talking about you know, how to make natural medicine remedies, and they're looking at videos of their own cultural dances and their language instruction, and they're very, very interested in all of the locally created content. And so in terms of the future, like we see a lot of the creation of more local content in the Indigenous languages that enables them to take pride in their culture, and to, you know, listen to their peers and the elders in their communities about how to adapt and how to face climate change with resilience. Because really, you know, the only people that know how to, you know, survive in that rainforest, and they have been, you know, doing so for you know, thousands of years or time immemorial, right, are the Indigenous people that live there. And so it is really great that we've been able to, through the use of technology, like just proliferate that knowledge and make it accessible to all the students and everybody in the community.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. And that's, again, one of the nice things with the Rachel and the Mobile Learning Lab, is that you can put contextually relevant content directly on there. So, you know, clearly there's a lot of work that goes into creating that content. But, you know, again, like you say, just to be able to preserve the culture over a long period of time, now it's there, it's done. So it's available for a lot of people as well. I could go on for a long time, Lorraine, asking you a lot of questions about this, but you know, we're really proud to be able to support this project, you know, and particularly again this one this year because of the development of a MOOC that will serve not only the teachers in the areas that you are in, but can be used by, you know, hundreds of other teachers eventually down the road as well. So, you know, these investments have a long-term impact, and you know, it's hard right now to think of more vital information than information on climate action and, you know, what can be done in communities. So we thank you very much for all the amazing work that you're doing. And I know that the communities you really take them to heart, and you've been there for a long time and you really understand what's going on in those communities. And, you know, I saw myself when I was visiting how the communities really bring in your organization and believe in what you're doing. So you've got the, you know, a great two-way exchange of communication going on there. So
Yes,
thank you very much.
we call it the family. Everybody calls it the family, right? And
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you're very at home there. You've been in that area for a long time, but you know, you're really taking it to heart as well. So again, thank you very much, Lorraine. I really appreciate that. I'll just take a 1 minute little sidebar. This summer, two members of 60 Million Girls Executive Committee team went to visit Bosawas. So they were with Lorraine for 3 weeks, I think, altogether. And so it was Nahid Rizvi and Josiane Farah. Josiane is a professional photographer, and she took some amazing pictures then. She was actually there when I was in Nicaragua in 2019 as well. And she's having a vernissage. So there'll be an exhibition of her pictures at the Musée Régional Vaudreuil-Soulanges. And that'll be taking place on November 16th. So it's a 5 à 7, and then the exposition will go on till February 4th, I believe it is. So there'll be a link for that as well. But you get to see some amazing pictures, much like we're in the video. Just really stunning area for sure. We will continue on. And again, thank you very much, Lorraine. We are supporting 3 projects this year. The second one is a project with Code in Liberia. So Code has been also a long-term partner with us, and we'll show you a short video on that particular project.
Hello, bonjour. My name is Nathalie O'Neill. I am a member of Code's Board of Directors. I am delighted to talk to you about 60 Million Girls Foundation's partnership with Code. Your foundation's commitment to fundraise $100,000 for Code this year marks the continuation of a story that we began writing together 5 years ago when you first funded a new Code project called Girls Accelerated Learning Initiative, or GALI. First, an after-school literacy and life skill program for a handful of girls in 5 schools in Liberia. GALI, thanks to you, will be expanding to 40 schools and will be serving 2,000 girls in the next 3 years. Beyond our unwavering belief in the ability of girls to change the world, we also share a deep commitment to learn, to listen, and to innovate in order to deliver the greatest possible impact for every dollar invested. We've brought this appetite for continuous improvement to the design of the GALI expansion. Let me give you 2 examples. Testing accelerated kindergarten for girls and boys to help stem the tide of overage children entering primary school. We are also developing new learning resources to increase environmental awareness and to inspire local action in recognition of our shared responsibility to address the global climate crisis. For us, the integration of environmental content into the GALI program is not a nice to have. It is a must have as we work together to nurture and empower young women who will be the leaders of tomorrow. In closing, let me quote poignant words from a young GALI participant who recently said, "Because of GALI, I value myself and my education." Thank you. Merci.
There's a school in Habel outside of Monrovia in Margibi. That is the Doodletown Public School. And I went to this kindergarten classroom. There was this girl sitting there that was 16 years old in kindergarten. And she was like bent over that she was trying for people to not see her or not to be observed because she didn't want to be bothered with or something like that. But she was embarrassed. So a lot of children drop out due to overage, and they do not have the support that they need. Not only money, but just for somebody to show concern. The Girls Accelerated Learning Initiative, GALI, is an after-school program for overage girls. So we have girls from age 11 to 16 in grades 1, 2, and 3 participating in GALI. And the goal of GALI is that these girls get to be promoted twice in one academic year, putting them closer to the age and grade level. GALI is a program that really stands out for those overage girls, that they see beauty in themselves, their inner self, they see that beauty, and it gives them the opportunity to excel. It gives them the opportunity to achieve their goals.
Thank you very much for showing that video. We do have yet another project. So there's 3 projects all together this year, and the third one is also a $100,000 investment with another longtime partner, Cause Canada, and this project will be taking place in Sierra Leone. So we have a short video to show you that as well.
Dem Sef Matter means we matter in Creole, the lingua franca and the de facto national language in Sierra Leone. We are excited to partner with the 60 Million Girls Foundation to begin implementing this project in Sierra Leone in January 2024. Dem Sef Matter was developed based on learnings from 2 other projects Cause Canada and Cause Canada Sierra Leone Partnership implemented in 2021 and 2022. The project will target out-of-school adolescent girls, particularly girls living with a disability. Being a girl in Sierra Leone is difficult, as there is tremendous gender discrimination. Girls living with a disability experience intersectional discrimination, the discrimination of being a girl and the discrimination of living with a disability. While the situation for people living with a disability in Sierra Leone is poor, with only 24.1% of boys with a disability attending formal schooling, for girls, this number drops to 13.2%. The focus of this project is access to education for adolescent girls, working with communities in Sierra Leone to help adolescent girls who have dropped out of school or never attended school to return to school by providing them with access to an accelerated learning center for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for up to 9 months. The centers will include local leaders who will be trained as tutors for the students and access to mobile learning labs, which will ensure that girls are able to access high-quality educational resources at the right level for the individual learner. The project will take a holistic, sustainable approach to sending girls back to school by training leaders and mothers clubs to be advocates for girls' education, gender equality, the right to education, and dignity for girls, especially those living with a disability. Leaders will be trained to be tutors and help establish the Accelerated Learning Center in their community, and mothers clubs will participate in trainings in small business management and savings, and a small grant will be provided to each mothers club to help them generate financial resources to send girls back to school and support girls at risk of dropping out to stay in school. Parents will be trained and sensitized on the importance of education during training workshops and home visits from mothers' clubs. For girls living with a disability, however, the project will engage women living with a disability as a champion. The champion will identify girls living with disabilities and meet with their families to discuss the girls' right and need for education. The champion will work with the family to design a family action plan with tailored strategies to enroll and keep the girl in school. Because girls with disabilities are particularly vulnerable and many have never attended any school, champions will work with families and the whole community via community engagement events to advocate for girls living with a disability's access to education and to support families to help the girls overcome their barriers, including social norms, to accessing education. We have already seen the impact of accelerated learning centers in helping adolescent girls return to and succeed at school, and we have tested the influence of working with women living with a disability in helping families to recognize the value and importance of girls living with a disability to attend school. We are thrilled to implement this new project in partnership with the 60 Million Girls Foundation.
We're really pleased to be able to fund these projects this year. The total amount that we're investing is $230,000, and the projects will begin being implemented in January of 2024. And of course, we can't do any of this without your help. Your generosity and your donations are really what enable us to look and find these really innovative projects. Once again, this year, we've had a very generous donor offer to do a matching donation campaign. So for the next 10 days, so up to November 12th, all donations up to a total of 15,000 will be matched. So your donations will be doubled. So whether it's 50, 100, or $500, that amount will be doubled. To make a donation, of course, you can go through our website. You can donate online. If it's easier for you, you can do monthly donations. We have the capability for that as well. And we really appreciate all your support all year round. And we look forward to seeing you and to have more events and have you participate in a lot of our activities, as I mentioned, that is already coming up next year. If there's any questions that you have, Vita, you can let me know. And if there's any questions today, please just write them in the chat box, or if not, you can send us an email at any time, and we're really happy to give you more information.
Doesn't look like there's any questions yet. Maybe give a little moment if anyone does have a question to quickly type it in. As we mentioned, you can always visit our website and find us through email and ask questions there. We'll be happy to chat. We are just 5 minutes over, so we don't want to take up too much more of anyone's time. I'm assuming that that's it for today. Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you again shortly. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Nice to see you.